Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Bad down the hatches were mine.
And now, the conclusion.
Like, Dean is able to, like, Death for some reason has Sam about to kill... Death is forcing Dean to kill Sam, and he's got a big scythe, because it's like the true form of Death's scythe, and somehow he manages to swing right over Sam and into Death, and Death, this ancient, primordial, all-powerful being, who once foiled a very similar attempt like this, immediately, fell for it this time, and fucking died. To his own scythe. I mean, in Season 5, Dean is, like, walking up to him, because I will admit, he somehow gets bound by Lucifer to do Lucifer's bidding, to help break seals, or... No, not break seals. Lucifer's already free. To help, like, destroy Earth and build up armies and stuff. I mean, so there is, like, some dumb rules here and there. But Dean has, like, a little hand scythe thing that was, like, Death's scythe in a compact form. He's trying to sneak up to him with it, and then it burns his hand and he drops it, and Death's like, hey, thanks for returning that. So I would think he might see it coming if Dean is going to swing it over and kill him, and do like a full fucking 180 with it, with Death standing right behind him. I don't know, it was dumb. How do you fight Death and God? You don't. Season 5 understood that. Because when he's going to kill Death, Death is like, you really think you can fight me? You need my ring to help, like, open the cage. Just have it, so I can be free. Which again, the fact that there's a spell that controlled him was kind of lame, but like, he was still really fucking powerful. I don't think you could just sneak. I don't think you could just, like, do a quick little slash with his own weapon and kill him. I think he would figure out you might do that if he's trying to make you kill your brother. And maybe stand further back, or just teleport away, because he can do that too. He can do fucking anything, he's all powerful, whatever. Next. Yeah, this is definitely going to be, like, 3 parts. Because this one I have a big problem with. Castiel is back a lot, and he's not all that powerful. At the end of Season 5, he gets killed again. He's completely depowered by that point, and he gets destroyed by Lucifer after he throws a Molotov cocktail of holy oil at Michael, which, like, burns his vessel, and he leaves for a bit, which gives them time to try and, like, confront Sam, who's possessed by Lucifer, in, like, the final showdown. And Lucifer's like, you just Molotov my brother? And Castiel was like, no. And then he gets blown up, and he's dead. And he calls Michael ass butt, and then throws the Molotov. Anyway, so then after everything's said and done, and Sam has jumped into, like, Lucifer's cage, they've got Lucifer trapped, Dean's sitting there, like, bloodied and fucking battered, and he's gross and swollen. All of a sudden, Castiel's hand comes down and heals him. He's like, what? Ah, I thought you were dead. Like, you find out, God revived him a second time, because he'd been blown up before, and he got brought back to help them. Which is another thing with God being helpful. He brought Castiel back and helped them up to help them. So now he's back again, and this time it's heavily implied he's like the new Michael. Because he says, like, there's a new sheriff in town or whatever, or Dean calls him that, and he's like, yeah. Like, it's implied he's the new heavenly host. Because the heavenly host is, like, what was controlling heaven while God was away. And Michael was, like, a big part of that and the head of that. And Castiel was to be his replacement. But that makes him too powerful, and they need to keep reusing him. So he's conveniently not an archangel, which you can pretty safely assume he was supposed to be at that point. No, he's a seraphim, which is, like, pretty powerful, but not that powerful. You know, just strong enough to where other angels are a problem, and Raphael can knock him around and not listen to him. So he's got to do that whole dumb plot of absorbing souls and bullshit. But it was a safe assumption that he was, maybe if he wasn't an archangel, he was at least strong enough to fucking control heaven and not need to be an archangel. He was the new sheriff. In the eyes of a ranger are upon you. Gabriel. He was a cool character. You think he's some trickster monster thing, which is like one of their run-of-the-mill monsters they run into, who's like bending reality to fuck with them until they kill him with some kind of weapon that tricksters die to. Throughout the series, they're like, hey, how the fuck does he keep coming back? Did he send a body double? Because you're supposed to stab him with a special branch, and they do that. In his first trick, where he's like fucking with them, I forget what what he was trying to do there. I think he was just screwing with them. The second time, he's like trying to teach Sam and Dean to just let each other go when one of them dies. Because they need Dean in hell to kind of like torture innocent souls, which will break the first seal of many that are needed to free Lucifer. And the angels were trying to help that happen, and even Gabriel, who's off on his own because he's sick of it all, he was trying to make that happen too, which means he was trying to get Sam and Dean to stop making deals for each other to save each other from death after Dean was like set to go to hell. Long story. So that's like one of the other times he fucks with them, is like he keeps making Dean die, like Groundhog Day. It's to make Sam just accept that he's going to die so that he can go to hell and kick things off. And they think it's just a trickster doing that. And they kill him or something. But then he comes back again and they're like, what the fuck? We keep killing him and he keeps somehow tricking us and leaving and getting away. Except this time, he's trying to teach them to fulfill their roles, which means Sam has to accept Lucifer, Dean has to accept Michael so they can fucking box and destroy everything. And he's doing it through like shows. He's making them, putting them in shows where they have to learn to act out the show in order to move on and get out of this nightmare hell he's made for them. But then Castiel keeps trying. So this time they find out he's actually the Archangel Gabriel. He's not just a trickster. He's an archangel that's been trying to string them along and get them to do Apocalypse. And at one point, it's revealed he's actually also Loki. Like, there's a pantheon of gods from different religions that meet up, and he shows up, and they're like, oh, hey, Loki. And he's like, hey, also, I'm an archangel. And they're like, you're not? What? I don't know if they ever find out. Lucifer shows up and starts murdering them all. They captured the Winchesters to try and, like, force the apocalypse to not happen. They were trying to hold them ransom or something, and Lucifer just shows up and murders all of them, and that's when he and Gabriel fight. And you find out Gabriel is also Loki, which is perfect, because Loki's a trickster god. But, you know, later seasons decide Gabriel was actually stealing the identity of Loki, who also looked like his host. Because he's an archangel, he was in a body. And Loki looked like that body, probably because Gabriel did magic. It's dumb, it ruins one of the best twists about Norse mythology and the show. It's just stupid, and that was a lot of fucking breath to say that. Loki was Gabriel, damn it. And they went back and just said no, he was pretending to be Loki. Loki let him use the identity in return for bullshit. Oh, and also Lucifer suddenly needs like a special blade to kill him. There's archangel blades now. They never said that was a thing before. I mean, Gabriel tries to kill Lucifer with just a run-of-the-mill angel blade, which is like this kind of cheap-looking long silver dagger. All angels have them, and they can kill angels with them. Archangels can just burn angels if they want and blow them up. I guess they could probably blow each other up too. It's easier to use the angel blade. But now Lucifer needs the archangel blade, which is just this long gold-looking shiv. It actually looks less special than the angel blades. And he gets stabbed with it a bunch of times and comes back. You know, it's a thing. Now for the final three. Which will probably get their own video. The Reapers were something, like their own class of monsters that were like part of Death's side of things. I guess they were like his version of angels. But then they decide, no, Reapers are angels. They've been angels the whole time. How could you not have known? They weren't their own thing. They're special types of angels. I don't know why they needed to do that. It was dumb. I liked Reapers just being this mysterious thing that, you know, helped reap souls. Camera. They even took like a long-established Reaper, I almost said Reacher, that kept working with them every time they died, or whatever. I don't know, there's a Reaper that was their friend that became an angel. Like, it turns out she's an angel. Just kind of helped ruin things. And like I said, there's that dumb rule for who becomes the next Death. If you somehow kill Death, the next Reaper that dies becomes the next Death. It could have at least made it like Doctor Who, where it's like, it's Death in a new form. It's more just like the mantle gets passed to that Reaper. And what's stopping an angel from being like, I'm a Reaper now, I'm gonna die? I guess there's special types of angels, just like there's seraphim and stuff. Now, one of my favorite things that was just dumb was God's evil sister, Amara. I guess she was supposed to be the darkness while he was the light. and there was like bitterness and fighting between them, and her coming back was a big deal. She was kind of God's equal, so again, they're like fighting God. And it was just a big dumb thing where they're recruiting Lucifer and stuff, and God and Amara end up leaving together, and this pisses Lucifer off, who, by the way, by this point was reforming. He had talked to God and kind of worked out some of his father issues with him, but then Amara and God leaving kind of conveniently reset all that, because he's like, hey, my aunt and my dad left, I'm mad now. It was just dumb. And she liked Dean. That was also dumb. It was like, it would have been better if she just dismissed everyone. It's just like, ah, you're just some meat bag, I don't give a shit. But no, they kind of had like a romantic thing, sort of. This is a whole dumb saga. I watched a good chunk of it in the final confrontation and a lot of the big confrontations, and yeah, that's when Castiel was possessed by Lucifer. I guess they hadn't brought his vessel back or something. No, because some guy that looked like Iggy Pop ended up becoming Lucifer's vessel for a short time in the next season. And then he melted. It was stupid. Then finally, God turns evil and fucking stays that way. Like, he just suddenly starts getting upset with the Winchesters wanting to do things their own way, I think. I forget entirely what the turning point was. He didn't like them disagreeing with them ultimately. And he even wipes out like a bunch of other universes, and at one point wipes out all life in the main universe. I think he destroys all the other planets too or something. But he wipes out Earth too. And it's so dumb. Because he's so evil and angry and like spiteful and jealous and stuff. It's like, it's a complete 180 from what he was. Even during the other fanfic seasons I don't really like. They don't really build up to it enough. I think they built up to it, but not really. Like, he does come across as kind of a jerk in other seasons when they make him out to be irresponsible and all too willing to kind of just leave things. And there's the whole Mark of Cain thing where he made that for Lucifer to help contain his evil sister, and then he was like, I'm sure Lucifer's got it, bye, and then it ends up becoming a clusterfuck. It's like, season 5 was better because it just left it a mystery, like maybe he's kind of a jerk, but really it might be because he just wants people to have free will. He did get kind of tired of the angels fighting, or at least that's what was like implied, but he still ends up interfering a lot and helping ultimately. He's kind of what allowed the final confrontation to swing towards the good guy's favor. And then, you know, he's just evil because they fought everything else. What's next? Or what's the last thing to fight? It really should have been death or something. But no, he just dies like halfway through the final season or something. It's stupid. I don't even think it was the final season. It's all throwaway bullshit. Oh, that's my last thing I hate that I can remember. Why did I make this? Just to crap on the show? I mean, it's mostly to review it. So I guess I'll get into things I like. I mean, seasons 1 through 5 are... I'm sure there's like some hit or miss stuff, but it was good. It was a good balance of humor and like darkness and grit and violence and story and world building. Later seasons kind of just become too humorous and there's a lot of fan service stuff. But first 5 seasons were good. This is just crap on all the other seasons. That kind of was the point. But we'll get to some things I liked, I guess. Anyway, yeah, first 5 seasons I think were just a really good balance of all those things. They had their whole overarching story, which worked really well in the end. Even if some of it probably was made up as they went, there was definitely structure to it. Like, there were things that were planned that paid off, but like by the final season. And then some things I like about the other seasons. The Leviathans were kind of cool. Except they were built to be this, like... They were built up as this big thing, this big threat that Castiel accidentally absorbed. And Death's like, hey, those guys got locked away because they ate everything on the Petri dish. God didn't want that to happen to humans, so he put them in purgatory. And you absorbed them, and now they're gonna break out. And then nothing seemed to ever work on them. They could kill angels. But it's like, just like demons, actually, they end up kind of just being depowered. Something everybody can just fight. But it was a cool concept. It was a new type of monster, even. Why don't they have an alpha? Shut up. And then there's the Empty, which is like another... It's a cosmic being / dimension. where like monsters and angels and stuff go when they die, and they just kind of sleep. They go into like a coma forever there. You know, unless they get brought back out a couple times. Stop shitting on the show. You've done that for 40 minutes. But it's kind of a cool concept, because it's like it's another cosmic being. It kind of explains where things go, even though that's like when they die. But we have purgatory, but and then we got the empty. And Castiel, well, Misha Collins gets to play an incarnation of the empty, who's talking to Castiel as Castiel. He does it pretty well, and the empty's a jerk. Yep. Is there anything else I liked? They put a demon, like a devil's trap on a bullet, and then shoot a really powerful demon, and it paralyzes her, because devil traps could like keep demons stuck in an area and depowered. So that was kind of cool. I kind of miss 2010 when the show was coming to an end, and there was a big like climactic feel to it. I'm not a big fan of like finales often. Like I don't really like either season finale of The Boys so far. That's the same showrunner, but I liked what he did with season 5. He had CW budget and kept things minimal. And the show is definitely trying to use... I'm sure they got more money, but it doesn't look like it. They try to do grand things they shouldn't be doing. Well, I'm happy everybody's happy making it and has like a big happy fandom. This is just my opinion on the show. I'm not even all that sad to like see it end. It's done so much randomness, and I kind of think it's just low effort. It's just done for the CW to keep making money and throw money at these people, and they're like, think of stuff. And it's like watching WWE. They're like, fuck, we have to keep making stuff. We're out of ideas, but just keep going, grind something out. That's my official review. Supernatural's like WWE. Cool, voice crack a bunch more. Ormond, you got anything to say? Ormond says I probably talked to fucking enough. And I need to edit all this. You know, Google deleted my original outline for this. It's just gone. And I decided I really need to get this message out. And I wanted to make... You know, I gotta churn shit out too. Otherwise my channel's... Yeah, stop looking. I'm looking at my coat.